Welcome back, everyone. Last night, Roman Dolidze versus Alexander Hernandez took place. I went 10-2 total on my picks. Pretty good fight night overall. Hernandez submitted Roman Dolidze in the fourth round and dragged him across the cage. Incredible win for him. I'm going to recap the whole card. It was a pretty fun one overall. So let me get right into it. Let's not waste any time here. First fight of the night, we had Cody Brundage versus Eric McConaughey. Oh my god. Cannot wait to get into this one, guys. Maybe I shouldn't have hyped up Cody Brundage. Maybe I shouldn't have. Maybe that was my first mistake. I was talking about respect with Cody Brundage, saying, "Oh, this guy he's showing out recently. I didn't like him at first, but he's got my respect. He really earned it." Well, he took all that respect that he earned and he threw it out the window because this dude doesn't want to win fights. He does not want to win fights. I've heard people cry robbery about this one. He gave up the win, guys. Cody Brundage in the first round came out, got knocked down within like 10 seconds. I don't know what the fuck that was. And then he's circling the cage, doing barely anything in the first round. He does end up landing some good strikes at the end of the first round. And people are giving him the round. He got knocked down in that same round. He landed a couple more strikes than McConaughey. He didn't knock down McConaughey, guys. We go off damage in a time like that. And the damage is the most damaging blow, which is a knockdown. That's obvious. McConaughey round one. Round two, I will say, Cody Brundage probably should have got that round on the scorecards. He outlanded McConaughey by a couple good significant strikes. That was pretty much the story of the second round. He was mixing in a bit of grappling, not doing anything with it though. The corner of McConaughey's yelling out, "He's doing nothing!" And the referee stands him up pretty much. Cody Brundage most likely got that second round. But then round three comes along. His corner is telling him in between round two and three, "Bro, you need to do something big this round. If you want this round, if you want to win this fight, it comes down to this round." And what does Cody Brundage do? He goes and he lets Eric McConaughey hold him against the fence for 2 whole minutes while his corner is yelling at him about urgency and about circling off the one side and getting off the cage. He's just letting himself be held there. Back to the fence, McConaughey doing nothing but holding him and landing knees to the thigh. And then in the last 3 minutes, they kind of scrap back and forth. But I mean, I'm not upset that Eric McConaughey got the decision, guys. People are calling robbery. Cody Brundage did not want to win this fight. He chose to lose this fight. So all that respect that I talked about in my prediction video, that's out the window. He's back to the back of the line, Cody Brundage, man. You are just what I thought originally of you. So yeah, Eric McConaughey split decision win. Moving on, Gabriela Fernandez versus Julia Stoliarenko. This was a fun one, man. I say fun, I mean more funny, because Gabriela Fernandez, she could have got Julia out of there. She could have if she wanted to. She really could have. In the first round, she's landing brutal body kicks to Julia Stoliarenko. Is getting reactions out of her. She lands a body kick. Julia's like kind of folds a little bit. If one more of those landed in the first round, Julia could have just completely fell over, incapacitated. But Gabriela Fernandez, after seeing that Julia Stoliarenko's hurt to the body, she decides, I'm not going to throw another body kick. She's not going to throw another body kick. Instead, she's just going to box with Julia and let her recover. Because that's what you do when you hurt someone to the body. You don't go back to the body. So that's what Gabriela did. She just did not go back to the body after hurting her. It was an interesting game plan by her. I thought she could have easily got that knockout, but I mean, I'm not complaining. I had the over 2.5 at plus money. Gabriela, I mean, she probably had it too because she ends up cashing it. Third round, Julia probably won, but she didn't do enough in the first two to win that decision. Julia really thought she was going to get that decision, though. She was pumping her fists up before the referees saying her name, and then she's like, "What? Oh, my name didn't get called?" Julia, you lost the first 2 rounds very clearly. Very clearly. I don't know what the fuck she was thinking. But anyways, moving on. Uros Medic versus Gilbert Urbina. Uros Medic comes out and gets knocked down within like 5 seconds in this fight. And then gets up and just mollywops Gilbert Urbina immediately in the first minute of this fight. This was one of the this was absolutely Incredible to watch. You know, Euros Medic comes out and he gets knocked down with like a right hand, gets right back up. Gilbert Urbina's pushing him, pushing him, pushing him. This was what I said was going to happen. Gilbert Urbina could get a quick knockdown, and then he's going to be pushing the pace, pushing the pace, pushing the pace, and then gets cracked. That's exactly how I said this fight was going to go. Euros Medic gets that first round KO. Under 1.5 was the bet that I played in this one. Cashed with ease. And there was no sweat. You know, whoever was going to win this one, it would have hit the under 1.5 anyways. If Gilbert Urbina dove on Euros Medic Hendo style, which is what he should have done when he knocked down Euros Medic, he would have cashed that under 1.5 for me as well. So that was a good bet. Good win for Euros Medic as well. The dude's so jolly too. He gets on the mic and he's like all giddy and happy, and he's like, I don't know, you would not expect that from Euros Medic though. I would kind of expect this dude to have like a calm, like kind of killer demeanor, but no, he was all smiles on the microphone. It was kind of interesting. Moving on, performance of the night bonus went to this fight, Jocelyn Edwards versus Priscilla Cachoeira. I would have gave it the fight of the night just so Priscilla gets something as well here, because she also is the reason that this finish happened. She decided to go out there with her hands at her waist and just walk towards Jocelyn Edwards, throwing power strikes. This was one of the most fun 2.5 minutes of WMMA I've ever seen. There was no defense from Priscilla Cachoeira. She's just throwing bombs and getting bombs landed on her chin. And Jocelyn Edwards, it was kind of funny how DC continues to do this. DC always has a funny moment on the microphone right before a finish. He goes, Priscilla Cachoeira needs to raise her hands up or she's going to get knocked out by that left hand. And then right when he says that, Jocelyn Edwards throws left hand, right hand, and both left hook, right hook. Both of them land on Priscilla Cachoeira's chin and knock her down. Just a brutal finish. 3 straight finishes for Jocelyn Edwards now. She's really good, guys. I was saying that she might be approaching her prime. I am convinced now we are seeing Jocelyn Edwards in her prime right now. She's legit. Great win for her. Moving on, Elijah Smith versus Toshiomi Kazama. Another fight that I predicted. Elijah Smith, the first round knockout. His first ever finish in the UFC. I predicted this. It wasn't that hard of a finish, I can't lie. Or a prediction, I can't lie. Kazama had been knocked out twice in the UFC in the first round. And he'd been knocked out outside of the company. So, this wasn't that hard of a pick for me. Elijah Smith beats up Kazama. Kazama gets knocked down. And then nearly gets a leg lock. Or he's trying submission holds and has bottom position on Elijah Smith. But Elijah Smith is just raining ground and pound down. Ends up picking him up out of a triangle choke. Slamming him down Batista Bomb style. Getting a crazy finish over Toshiomi Kazama. You know it's a bad fit. You know it's a brutal finish when they announce the name of the hospital that they are using for the card. You know it's a brutal finish when they announce the local hospital for the card. And then 2 hours later, they make a point to announce that Toshiomi Kazama is in stable condition in the hospital. It was a brutal knockout. Toshiomi was out for a few minutes, flat on his back, and he landed right on the back of his head. That was the initial impact. It was a crazy, brutal finish. Good job for Elijah Smith. He needed something like that to get his name out there. Julius Walker versus Rafael Serkua was the next one. Julius Walker, man. I don't know what to think of him now. I don't. He did outland Rafael Serkua nearly or over 3-1 here. But that first round was a little dicey. He was getting every one of those strikes that Rafael Serkua was landing was moving Julius Walker, kind of cracking his head away. He would land a right hand, and Julius Walker's whole body would turn to the side. He was giving out bad looks, bad optics. And I really thought Julius Walker was going to get Rafael Serkua out of there early on here, but maybe I'm not going to give him any credit, actually. Rafael Serkua was just a pushover here when Julius Walker turned on. He started off a bit stiff, though, I'll say. I really wanted Julius Walker to get that finish, though I did. Unfortunate he couldn't get the finish, but I still do have faith in him. I'll still call him a prospect. I'll still back Julius Walker. He did look good in the later portion of this fight. But he should have been switched on a bit early on. I don't know. Maybe he didn't do enough warm-ups or something. Maybe he was coming in a bit cold. Next fight, moving on to the main card, Eric Anders versus Christian Leroy Duncan. Another fight I predicted, guys. I told you Christian Leroy Duncan was getting a knockout over Eric Anders. He had been knocked down by Chris Weidman. Christian Leroy Duncan, I mean, I get he didn't knock out Puliev, but he had knocked out a couple of guys before, and that's exactly what he did to Eric Anders. I think it was a spinning back elbow that he landed or something like that. I'm pretty sure it was a spinning back elbow that was the initial onslaught, and then he got a combo against the fence and knocked down Eric Anders. This is what I called, though. I called a CLD knockout in the first or second round. I said this was going to happen. People forget, man, you got to watch those breakdown videos. Anyways, this was an easy pick, guys. This was an easy pick. I did not expect Eric Anders to go 3 whole rounds with CLD, the very dynamic striker on the feet. It wasn't going to happen. Moving on, Miles Johns versus Gene Matsumoto. Pretty good back and forth fight. People are calling this a robbery. I can't see it. I don't understand how this is a robbery. If you really look at it, I don't get it. The first round, close. Gene had the submission attempts. He had pretty similar significant strikes. He hung in there. He did get taken down, but I didn't think Miles Johns did a lot with the takedown. Round 2, Gene outlands him. He gets taken down again, but there's 2 submission attempts as well for Gene Matsumoto. And you go to round 3, and Gene outlands him by 20 strikes. All Miles Johns was doing was landing takedowns. How high are we valuing takedowns now? It's always when it's the fighters you guys want to win that you value takedowns. But when it's anyone else, takedowns don't matter. It's only the damage that you do on the feet. But when it's Gene Matsumoto, that doesn't matter. I don't understand how this is a robbery. People are calling that Miles Johns should have won. They're showing verdict scores. When the fuck does verdict scores matter? Tell me. When have they ever mattered? What number verdict puts on a round? When does that matter? The verdict ranks this one a 9.6. Miles Johns had 2 more 9.7 rounds than Gene Matsumoto. That's a robbery. What are we talking about? Are we watching the same fight? Gene Matsumoto outstruck Miles Johns easily. I don't understand. I don't understand. People are calling this a robbery. Same with the Cody Brundage one. You can have a close fight. You can have a close fight. I don't understand. Anyways, I'm not gonna blow a gasket. Andre Fili versus Christian Rodriguez was the next one. I should have trusted my gut. I really should have. I could have had an expert card here. Oh my god. In my breakdown video, I was so close, man, but I got cold feet. I kind of bitched out of Andre Fili. I totally bitched out of picking Andre Fili here. I can't lie. C-Rod can only beat 20-year-olds. That's the craziest thing. C-Rod only beats 20-year-olds that have no octagon experience. He only beats the newest prospects in the company that have fought nobody else, and he wins razor-close split decisions against them. When he fights an established name, he looks like he is a little wimp. He cannot do anything. He gets a takedown, but he somehow landed 20 more strikes than Andre Fili, but I don't know about that. Fili was landing the more effective strikes all throughout this fight, and he was just doing more. They say that he landed... There's no way he landed 7 more total strikes in that second round. There's just no way. These stats are really gassing up Christian Rodriguez a bit here, but Andre Fili, third round, he gets the takedowns off and ends up taking home that decision victory. I should have trusted my gut, man. I cannot believe that I didn't trust my gut with that one. Moving on to Yasmin Lucindo versus Angela Hill. I told you guys, I do not pick 40-year-olds. It's not going to happen. And Angela Hill looked pretty bad in this fight, I can't lie. Lucindo, I think she took every round convincingly. You know, she outstruck Angela Hill and got a takedown off in that first round. She did get outstruck in that second round, but she also landed a takedown, got control time off on Angela Hill. And then the same thing, rinse and repeat in that third round. 40 total strikes, another takedown attempt. Angela Hill just couldn't get it done against the young, dynamic 23-year-old. I thought this was a easy pick Easy pick. I don't know. No, I was actually a little worried about this one. Just because it's Angela Hill, you never know what you're going to get out of her. But Lucindo looked really good, and, she's got to start getting some credit. She does. She's 23 years old, beating names like Angela Hill. That's a legit win. You got to give her some credit. Moving on to the co-main event, Steve Erceg versus Ode Osborne. Oh, Steve Erceg. All I needed was another 3 fucking strikes from you to land that significant strikes line that I played. Anyways, I thought he was going to make easy work of Ode Osborne. I did. That first round, man, I was on the edge of my seat, man. I had my head in my hands. Ode Osborne lands I really thought Steve Erceg was going to beat up Ode Osborne, man. I did. But then first round comes along, and Ode Osborne's piecing him up on the feet, getting massive reactions out of Steve Erceg when he lands. He lands a left hook on him when Erceg comes in. Nearly has Steve Erceg, face planted against the fence. Oh, my God. The emotions I went through in this fight was not okay. But Erceg bites down at that mouthpiece in that second round, lands the better strikes in the second round, and takes that second round. In round 3, they have the money line for Steven Erceg around a minus 150. There's a moment in that third round where Erceg becomes a plus 100. And I'm looking at that, and then he quickly switches back to a minus 150, and I plays everything on him. And then he lands a takedown in that third round. And then he switches to a minus 1,000, minus 2,000, minus 5,000. I got him at minus 150 though, guys. I can't lie. I should have hit him when he was at plus 100 there. Maybe he was at huge. He was probably at plus 200 or something in that first round. But I got him in the third round at minus 150. And I'm pretty proud of that. Because right after I placed that, he landed that takedown and just controlled Ode for the rest of that third round, and there was no worry at all in my brain that he won that second round. It was clear to me he won that second round. So yeah, this was a great win for Steve Erceg, but man, he definitely worried me. Is he gonna get knocked? He's gonna get knocked out again at some point, man. He's got a suspect chin, I will say, getting cracked like that against Ode Osborne. But this was a much-needed victory for Steve Erceg. He's not on a 3-fight losing stint anymore. He now has 1 win. That's just what he needed. If he lost this one, there was a chance he could have got cut, especially if he got knocked out brutally. So I'm really happy for Steve Erceg. That's all I'll say. Moving on to the main event, Roman Dolidze versus Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. Listen, guys, people forget. Real people picked Roman Dolidze to win this fight. Real people picked Roman Dolidze to outstrike Anthony Hernandez on the feet and outgrapple Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. This was, I don't know, I think some people might just overthink some things. And, I'm not going to be in that boat this time. I thought Fluffy Hernandez was absolutely effortless in this against Roman Dolidze. His money line wasn't too much. I think it was like a minus 200, something like that. This was an easy win. This was an easy pick. I get people were bringing up this Phil Hawes, the lengths that they have to go to make Roman Dolidze look good is insane. They have to bring up a Phil Hawes knockout. He knocked out Phil Hawes after breaking his knee. That fight already should have been stopped at that point. That's his best highlight reel knockout, was against a dude that had 1 knee at the time. The fight already should have been stopped a minute before that finish happened. And that's how people were making Roman Dolidze look good this week. They're like, oh, he knocked out Phil Hawes, man. Phil Hawes is only the chinniest fighter ever. He's only been knocked out how many times? And that's how people are saying Roman Dolidze was going to beat Hernandez? Oh, he beat Kevin Holland. He beat Anthony Smith. He beat Marvin Vettori. What are we doing here? Hernandez has shown time and time again to be undeniable. Absolutely undeniable. And people are talking about Roman Dolidze needed a step up in competition after beating Marvin Vettori and Kevin Holland. He's still getting disrespected, getting guys low in the rankings. Anthony Hernandez is on a how many fight win streak, and he's still ranked below Robert Whittaker? People, I don't understand. People are just not giving Fluffy any credit. And I was in that boat for a while. I picked Roman Kopylov to beat Hernandez. I picked Michel Pereira to beat Hernandez. They were bad picks. I can admit, Michel Pereira was never going to beat Hernandez in hindsight. That was not going to happen. I was picking it based off of a Kevin Holland knockout that happened like 5 years ago. It was never going to happen. Roman Dolidze was never going to win this fight, man. We've seen him look terrible on the feet. In that 5-rounder against Nasruddin Imavov, he was getting fucking annihilated, man. Annihilated. And the only thing that made that a majority was because Imavov had a point taken at one point. I don't get it, man. People were way overthinking this one. It was not that hard of a pick. Hernandez was effortless, and I did think he was going to win a decision, or I think I might have said a later finish, but I ended up going with a decision. But he got that round 4 submission win. He dragged Dolidze across the canvas in a rear naked choke. And I might have that replaying in my head until the next Fluffy Hernandez fight. But that was one of the best finishes I've ever seen. Submission-wise, dragging your opponent across the canvas while they tap, that's the coldest thing I've ever seen. And I cannot stress, there were real people that were gassing up Roman Dolidze. Like we didn't all watch him barely win against Marvin Vettori. Barely win. Like, he beat Kevin Holland because Kevin Holland's rib popped out. I get it's caused by Dolidze, and I did pick Dolidze to do that, but he was never going to beat Fluffy, man. There was no chance he was beating Fluffy. Anyways, great card overall, 10-2. It massively overperformed my expectations of it, so great card overall. And I did pretty good. 4 out of 5 of my betting, my best bets that I gave out on the Sparring Sessions podcast there, they hit. So that was a pretty good betting card overall. And it was a pretty fun card to watch overall. So I'm pretty happy with it. And next week we get 319 DDP versus Khamzat Chimaev. Another card I cannot wait for. And those picks will be out to you tomorrow most likely. So if you like this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. That's the whole recap. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.